Alrighty, here's these pieces. I wanted to just document how I would go about getting this design done because I want to get a design ready for you guys. And I know, like, if we just do it during class time, I don't know, it's just going to be tough for me to do it. So first thing I'm going to note here is just about what area we need for this. So I'm looking. And I always kind of overshoot it, so I'm going to say 20 inches long here. That's going to give me about an inch on each side. And then same for width. I'm going to say, 6 inches wide. Just that way, if I don't have things lined up perfectly, I'm going to give myself, I'm going to cut out, enough of an area around these that I'm going to clear it regardless in case it's not perfect. Because it'd be much better to get more covered than less, because then we'll have to run the program again, etc., etc. A lot of this is about trying to make sure you only have to run the program once. Okay, next up, right, is I'm going to document from the top here, I'm using the calipers to measure depth because I want to know where we should start and how far down we should go. So we need to start right about there. So we're looking at, what are we looking at here? Not quite an inch. 0.95 inches tall is where we're gonna start. And then we wanna get down to about a little bit into these. So we're going from 0.95. Oh, actually, we're going down to here. So we're going down to 0.95. We're going from 0.95 to 0.5. So we're shaving half an inch off. We'll get rid of all the tops of these. So half an inch deep, and then 6 by 20 is the rectangle we need. So we will go set that up in the software now. All right, so we're gonna take our information that we got from measuring, and we are going to, we're gonna get a project prepped here, an easel. Okay, I'm gonna call it coaster flat create. All right, so first things first, we gotta set our material up. The main thing over here is really just to set up the distances. So we have a width of 6 and a length of 20. The other thing we need to do is set our thickness here. I'm going to set this to 1.5. I don't know if that's not correct. Ours is probably honestly more like 1 inch, so we could put that in. But we just need it to be deep enough so that we can set up the cut. Okay. The next thing we need to change is the bit that we're going to use. We're going to use a flattening bit. They didn't have flattening bits in here. Okay, so I have a 1 inch surfacing bit, a custom one that I just made up. Okay, so that's why I'm picking that one. I created this bit in the software. I'm not going to show you how to do that right now, but I just wanted to, I just wanted to explain that a little bit, I guess. Okay, so now, very simple. All we need to do is make a square, right, the size of our cut. That's it. So we just want to make sure we're covering this because this is the size of our cut. Now there are instances where you'd want to do this differently, but for us, for our purposes, this is all we want to do. How deep do we want to cut it? We want to cut it half an inch deep. Boom. Okay, that's done. Now it's showing you over here what the cut's going to look like. This is fine for us. Again, it's showing that it's not going to quite get everything. Like the corner here, but again, that doesn't matter for us. It's going to get all the area that we want. That's why we measured big, right? I'm going to go into cut settings here, right? It's got settings in here that are very, very, very conservative, okay? Which basically means it's going to go super slow. All right, so we're going to speed all this stuff up a little bit, okay? And then this is going to help just make things go a little bit faster. Okay, so we're gonna go like 1/10 of an inch per pass, and we're gonna increase the speed rate. And you can see we went from like 2 to 3 hours to less than an hour. So that's something I'm still learning, but for our purposes here, I think this will work. We can click simulate here. It shows you the path it's gonna run. You know, whatever, you can watch it if you want, but like, I don't know, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, I'm not too concerned about it. We can, if we want to, like, change how it does it. Like, we want to go in from out, or we want to go side to side. I think actually, you know, maybe like side to side is probably the better way to go on this one. And then now that I'm done, I just have to select my machine. Forest is a custom machine I made in here. Again, I'm going to export it. It's called Coaster Flat, and now I got to get a USB drive and put that on it and transfer it to the computer. I'll show you how to do that as well, just so we have it all documented. Okay, so we're in the CNC room. I've checked to make sure the CNC is working. I've got the proper bit on right here. Now, normally we'd have dust collection on, but I'm gonna leave it off for this run just so you can see better how this is gonna work. So basically I need to put this bit needs to go on the bottom left corner of our cut at exactly the height that we wanna start, which is gonna be the height of this guy, okay? So it takes a little finessing and some time to get that done correctly. In the software, this is what it looks like, right? I have my Y, X, Z controls here. Basically, I'm gonna go from turtle, which is slow. I'm going to rabbit, so it'll actually move like decently fast. Okay, so we're just moving this. So right now, oh, I just see my dust collections over here getting pinched. We don't want that. Okay, very easy to screw things up in here because this CNC is not smart. It will run right over stuff and break things if you're not paying attention. Ask me how I know. Okay, so here we go. I'm just kind of ballparking it right now. X, you know, moving the X-axis over. It's nice having a big CNC, but honestly, like, for the things we do, it's probably not necessary. And it's kind of cumbersome to have such a big one. You gotta have this big room. I don't know, I'd rather have a smaller one. You know, maybe 1/3 of the size of this one would be ideal. Okay, lowering the bit. Ooh, actually I screwed this up. Because here's the deal, right? We want it to be right. I'm gonna zoom in here. Because we want it to be even with that tallest point. I'm gonna get it over here. And now I can make sure we're getting it there. And then the thing is, right, is you gotta really get down at eye level to see. So we're like a little too far down right there. But we're close, we're real close, all right? We're real close. Okay, so I just gotta raise that up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and go to slow mode, and I'm just gonna Z up just slightly, get it eye level here. I think we are good now. We're very close. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it back on fast, and we're gonna get to where we actually need to start our program. So we're at the height, so now we just gotta get the X and the Y. So again, I'm coming down here, making sure it's lined up where I want it. I think that's actually a pretty good spot to be because we're gonna be covered on this one. So now I have to zero out the program. Well, first we gotta load the program here. Cool. So we're gonna go to setup, F1. This is where we set our kind of home point, right? So F10 zeroes it out. F1, F10, F1, F10. So we've just set our coordinates to 0, 0, 0, where it's at right now. That's how we want to start our program. So that's done. Now we got to load our program, okay? So we'll load our program here. Whoops. Load. We got to go into the USB drive, and then we got to find it. Now, Notice that there's a bunch, I don't know why it does this, but there's a bunch of files that are 4 kilobytes. These are not the files you want. They always have like a period underscore under them. You don't want any of those. See, now that we're in here, we're starting to see the files that we actually want. So there's coasterflat.nc without the dot underscore in front of it, and it's 28 kilobytes. That means there's actually information in there. So I'm gonna click that. It all worked. So now I'm gonna go to graph, and this is gonna tell us what our program looks like. And we're just checking to make sure it looks correct, especially with the depth, right? Especially with the depth. It looks like it's going 1/2 inch down. That's what we want. Because if you don't pay attention to the depth, then stuff like this happens. Holes in the table. You can see I've screwed it up several times, all right? Like, it's easy to make mistakes, so we're just double checking. So that all looks good. We are ready to roll, actually. The only thing that we need to do now is our program here, right? We actually need to edit it. So to start the CNC, we need MO3 is our command to start the CNC. And then MO5 is our command to stop. And M30 stops the program. And you just got to remember that, honestly. Like, so that's just all we got to do. So we save that, we close it, and now we're ready to run this program. And if we did everything correctly, the CNC will start spinning and it'll start actually cutting. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully we did it all correct. Okay, we'll get out of there. Obviously super loud. You don't want to be in there without hearing protection if you can help it. And I usually like to just watch for the first minute or so to make sure it's doing what I think it's supposed to be doing. And then after that, it should just run on its own as long as it's set up correctly. So I'm gonna start the dust collection, and then I'm gonna go just check on it here in a minute, make sure it looks good. But that's how you run the CNC.